On a beautiful day in 1943, at the Philadelphia Naval Shipyard, something truly extraordinary occurred. A mysterious blue light reportedly enveloped the USS Eldridge, a manned destroyer escort, before it suddenly vanished into thin air. The ship was then allegedly spotted at the Norfolk Naval Shipyard in Virginia, over 300 kilometers away, before disappearing once again and rematerializing back in Philadelphia. Legend has it that the crew of the Eldridge was affected by this supernatural event in deeply disturbing ways. Some were said to have gone insane, while others succumbed to mysterious illnesses. Most horrifyingly, some crew members were reportedly fused into the very structure of the ship, still alive, but with their limbs permanently welded into the steel hull. These details, which sound like something pulled straight from a horror movie, explain the enduring legacy of the rumors surrounding the Philadelphia experiment. The Philadelphia experiment stands as one of the most bizarre and enigmatic military urban legends in history. It centers on the alleged supernatural disappearance of a destroyer from the Philadelphia Naval Shipyard in late October 1943, followed by shocking revelations involving contact with extraterrestrial forces. This myth traces its origins back to a man named Carl Allende, who used the pseudonym Carlos Miguel Allende. In late 1955, Allende sent an anonymous package labeled as an Easter greeting to the U.S. Office of Naval Research. Inside was a copy of the book The Case for the UFO by author Morris K. Jessup. The book was filled with handwritten marginalia in 3 different colors of ink, blue, green, and blue-violet. These notes appeared to detail a debate between 3 individuals, one of whom, using the blue-violet ink, was named Jemmy. In a special edition, Jessup's book was later reproduced in 127 copies, including these annotations and Allende's letters. The other 2 participants in the written dialogue were referred to as Mr. A, writing in blue, and Mr. B, writing in green. In these notes, the authors commented on Jessup's ideas regarding flying saucer propulsion, discussed various alien races, and expressed concern that Jessup was getting too close to discovering their technology. This suggested that at least one of the 3 authors of these notes was an extraterrestrial. The notes referred to each other as gypsies, and discussed 2 different types of beings living in outer space. They analyzed Jessup's assumptions in detail, using capitalization and punctuation that did not follow standard human conventions. Shortly thereafter, in January 1956, Allende began sending a series of letters to Jessup using both his real name and his pseudonym. The first letter warned Jessup against investigating the levitation capabilities of UFOs. Allende even provided a dangerous-sounding scientific narrative based on the unified field theory, an unproven scientific concept proposed by Albert Einstein. In the 1950s, the unified field theory attempted to merge Einstein's general relativity with electromagnetism. In a letter to Jessup, Allende claimed to have been personally taught by Einstein and insisted he could prove the unified field theory based on events he witnessed on October 28, 1943. He claimed that on that day, at the Philadelphia Naval Shipyard, a scientist named Franklin Reno put these theories into practice by successfully conducting the Philadelphia experiment. Allende claimed to have been an eyewitness to the experiment while serving aboard the cargo ship SS Andrew Furuseth. According to his account, a destroyer escort was rendered invisible and inexplicably teleported to Norfolk, Virginia, for several minutes before reappearing at the Philadelphia yard. The men on the ship reportedly suffered various side effects, including losing their minds, becoming invisible or intangible, and being frozen in place. When Jessup wrote back asking for evidence to corroborate the story, Allende claimed he needed time to recover his memory and referred Jessup to a Philadelphia newspaper article that he claimed had covered the incident. That article, however, appeared to exist only in Allende's imagination. By 1957, Jessup was invited to the Office of Naval Research, where he was shown the copy of his book covered in handwritten annotations. Jessup immediately recognized Mr. A's handwriting as being identical to the letters he had received from Allende. 12 years later, Allende admitted that he had intentionally created the annotations to scare Jessup. Tragically, Jessup did more than just get scared. After several failed attempts to publish books on UFOs and a series of personal setbacks, Jessup took his own life in Florida on April 30, 1959. Based on the letters Allende sent to Jessup, American writer Charles Berlitz, author of the bestseller The Bermuda Triangle, along with UFO researcher William Moore, published The Philadelphia Experiment, Project Invisibility. The book was presented as an account of the search for a secret wartime U.S. Navy project that may have succeeded beyond all imagination. It expanded on Allen's letters, weaving together stories of strange events, Einstein's unfinished unified field theory, hidden identities, UFO connections, and government cover-ups. Among the dozens of works inspired by the legend, Berlitz and Moore's book is credited with popularizing Allen's story on a massive scale, bringing it to the mainstream and giving this eerie tale the momentum it maintains to this day. The question remains, how much of Carl Allen's claims are actually true? The answer is likely to disappoint conspiracy theorists. Today, the internet circulates many different, and sometimes contradictory, versions of the Philadelphia experiment. However, most versions share several core points. One reason Allen's seemingly far-fetched story has persisted is its connection to a prestigious name in science, Albert Einstein. The Philadelphia experiment is alleged to be a practical application of the unified field theory, a term coined by Einstein to describe a potential set of theories that could explain the interrelated nature of electromagnetism and gravity. In other words, the theory aimed to unify the gravitational and electromagnetic fields into one. Some unnamed scientists allegedly believed this unified field would allow for the use of high-power generators to bend light around an object through refraction, rendering it completely invisible. The U.S. Navy supposedly recognized the military potential of this theory and funded the test. The experiment allegedly took place on October 28, 1943, and was said to have achieved limited success. The subject, the destroyer escort USS Eldridge, vanished from its berth at the Philadelphia Naval Shipyard and teleported to another shipyard in Norfolk, Virginia, more than 320 kilometers away. Some witnesses reported a greenish fog appearing around the ship's location. Legend says the Eldridge was present in Virginia for at least several minutes, long enough for sailors on the SS Andrew Furuseth to spot it, before it vanished and reappeared in its original spot in Philadelphia. While the steel ship remained mostly intact, the sailors suffered horrific side effects. When the ship reappeared, crew members complained of terrible nausea, while others descended into madness. Some were reportedly frozen in place. Even more gruesome were reports of men being trapped or fused into the metal structures of the ship. One sailor allegedly ended up on a deck below where he had been standing, with his hand somehow merged into the steel hull of the vessel. It was a scene of horror even for those with the most vivid imaginations. More tragic still, another man was said to have been rematerialized, inside out, with his flesh on the inside and his internal organs exposed. A few men simply vanished. The legend also claims that the remaining sailors of the Eldridge were brainwashed to maintain the absolute secrecy of the experiment. So, what actually happened on the USS Eldridge that day? Edward Dudgeon, who served in the U.S. Navy aboard the USS Angstrom, noted that both the Angstrom and the Eldridge were indeed equipped with top-secret high-tech equipment at the time. However, these were not invisibility generators or alien-designed teleportation drives. Instead, they were devices capable of scrambling the magnetic signatures of the ships using a technique called degaussing. This protected the ships from magnetic mines used by Nazi U-boats. This technology did make the American ships invisible, but only to the magnetic sensors of German mines and torpedoes. They certainly did not disappear from plain sight as Allen claimed, nor could they teleport hundreds of miles away. As for the strange green mist surrounding the ship, it was likely St. Elmo's fire. This is a weather phenomenon caused by the discharge of electricity from a high-voltage conductor. The high-power generators and large-diameter cables running along the sides of the ship, carrying currents up to 2,000 amperes, could create an electric field strong enough to ionize the surrounding air, turning it into glowing plasma. Depending on the intensity of the field, this blue or green light can be accompanied by eerie hissing or buzzing sounds, which could easily become the source of supernatural speculation. Despite this, official reports indicate that no one was harmed by these electrical discharges. Finally, the inland canal system connecting Philadelphia and Norfolk allowed not just the Eldridge, but any naval vessel, to travel between the two locations in just a few hours. In reality, both the deck logs and the war diary of the USS Eldridge show that the ship was never even docked in Philadelphia between August and the end of December 1943. This information alone is enough to debunk Allen's story. However, conspiracy theorists always find a way to keep their favorite legends alive, simply by claiming that these official documents were easily forged by the U.S. Navy. Regarding Allen himself, later journalistic investigations discovered that Carlos Miguel Allende was actually a man named Carl Meredith Allen, born on May 31, 1925, in Springdale, Pennsylvania. He was the youngest of 5 children. According to his own family, Allen was a bright and gifted student but lacked persistence and was a natural drifter. From a young age, he frequently made up tall tales and elaborate pranks to avoid work. In 1942, Allen joined the U.S. Marine Corps but was discharged after less than a year. Shortly after, he joined the Merchant Marine, serving on the SS Andrew Furuseth and several other ships until he left the service in 1952. A few years later, he began making claims about the secret military experiment he supposedly witnessed in 1943. Throughout his life, Carl Allen operated under various aliases, including Professor, Senator, and Colonel Carlos Miguel Cristoforo Allende. He even once wrote to rocket engineer Wernher von Braun as Dr. Carl Medic Team. He wandered through many places, including Colorado and Mexico, before finally passing away in Greeley, Colorado, on March 5, 1994. In the end, the Philadelphia experiment appears to be nothing more than a fantastical but captivating invention. It was constructed by a master hoaxer using unproven scientific theories and a tiny grain of truth to scare someone to death and plant a massive deception in the minds of the public. It is undeniably one of the most bizarre military urban legends ever conceived. Even though the author Carl Allen and the central figure Maurice Jessup have both passed away, and the Eldridge itself was sold for scrap in the 90s, the Philadelphia experiment, one of the most infamous conspiracy theories of World War II, will likely continue to linger on the internet for a long time to come.